rental from Las Vegas. It wasn't too lengthy of a trip, which is kind of nice. I was in Las Vegas in the Cutler class last week in promoting now bodybuilding events, amateur events. I was in Germany the week before. This has been probably one of my busiest years so far with travel schedule. And as you guys know, through social media and everything else, I've stepped away from competing. I've retired 3 years ago, and really just doing as much as I can to help promote and build awareness to fitness, bodybuilding, a transition of now what has become something much greater with athletes that are competing at all different levels now, not just strictly bodybuilding. When I started at the age of 18, I had one choice to be a bodybuilder, and that was it. And I started looking at bodybuilding magazines at 12 years old, and I knew I wanted to look like Superman or Spider-Man or whatever. I wanted to have some sort of physique, and I started weight training at the age of 18. I was going to school for criminal justice at the time, and I wanted to be a police officer. And someone coached me into competing in a bodybuilding competition. I did so well, I continued with it, and that kind of is what gave me the foot in the door for bodybuilding and taught me a lot. But what I realized in the beginning was, when I did hit the gym, those 2 hours I spent in between the classes and working my security job at the age of 18, I knew that time in the gym was almost like a therapy session for me. I had a lot of pressure from my family. We had a concrete business. I grew up on a farm. My family wanted me to participate in that business. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do something else. So of course I pursued a degree in criminal justice. But at the same time I found weight training, which took me away from all the stresses at the age of 18. So it was a great transition for me. In those 2 hours I spent in the gym, there was zero stress. I didn't think about anything else but lifting weights. I was one of those kids that went to the gym and I saw every piece of equipment and I thought, okay, this is what I need to do in order to build this size. I didn't know anything about diet. I didn't know anything about the nutrition aspect. I didn't know anything about overtraining. I just know I spent 2 hours a day in the gym lifting as much weights as I could and using everything I could. So I progressed really quickly, even though I was probably doing things a lot off. I was picking up Max Scrap magazines at the gym, and that's how I kind of learned. We didn't have social media or any of that aspect in order to learn how to work out. There were no training videos at the time. So I was looking at, guys like Schwarzenegger and Bob Harris. I read his book. I would stop in the local GNC and pick up and breeze through magazines at the time, and that was really the only outlets we had. And I slowly learned how to develop my physique. I was able to start working with nutritionists very early on and learn how important the diet is, not just the weight training. And that's really what propelled me to the next level, was learning to eat more frequent meals every 3 hours, eating about 6 meals a day. I put the diet that my nutritionist wrote on the refrigerator and I followed that to a T, my 6 meals a day. Most important meal being the breakfast, before and after the workouts, those 3 meals. And I continued to progress, and I won the Teenage Nationals at 19, became a pro at 23 years old, landed on the Olympia stage at 25 for the first time, and fought my way for 2 times there before I was able to land second place, and eventually a lot of seconds before I got to first for Ronnie Coleman, and the rest is history. I won four times there. I was the only one to win the title and come back, to win the title and lose it, come back and win it again. So I wrote a lot of history along the way, but more importantly, life after 40 is much different from those 20 years I spent being a competitive bodybuilder. I'm now traveling a lot with the military, doing tours with the USO, giving back to our troops. I grew up in a strong military background. I'm promoting, like I said, these J. Cutler Classics. I have 5 events that carry my name all around the country. I was in Las Vegas last week. Next weekend's in Massachusetts, where I reside from. And I continue to go out there and do these appearances and spread the word, try to get people more active into the fitness lifestyle. And listen, it's not all about competing. It's all about just following a lifestyle and finding what works best for you, and to look in the mirror and be happy with what you see. And through my 20 years, being as competitive as I wasn't necessarily always happy with the way I looked. I always wanted more. I was never satisfied, and I think that's what made me so competitive. And the reason I stayed fighting for the Mr. Olympia crown was because I wanted to be better, but also I had a huge, huge influence by the fans that kept me driven to be my absolute best. And failure sometimes was the best thing for me because I was able to come back stronger, and I used that as my weapon when I went to the gym and I trained every day. And I would train at my peak up to 4 times a day. I'd be in the gym, I would, sleep and eat my meals in between. But on an average day, I was training at least twice a day and sometimes 4 times a day when I was training for competition. Competition ranged me in 12 to 16 weeks prior. I'd give myself that preparation time. And in the off season, I would of course travel to events such as these, but at the same time try to bulk up and put on as much size as possible. My biggest, at 5'9", I was 310 pounds. I weighed, just so you guys know, about 230 now, so you can imagine, another, 70, 80 pounds of body weight. It was a huge toll to be able to sit and eat as much food as I had to eat. I would eat 5 pounds of meat a day. I'd eat 1,000 carbs on an average day, 1,000 carbohydrates, through about 7 or 8 meals. So, needless to say, I spent all day cooking food and eating and then training. So it's a big switch of the lifestyle now because I can focus now on the business side, not doing as much of the eating. I eat about 4 meals a day, but more importantly, I'm doing what I want to do and I feel healthy doing it, and not really pushing to the competitive level that it took for me to maintain that Mr. Olympia status. I can envy the guys a lot more now. I can definitely view from the outside looking in, a lot differently. And it took a couple years to do that from retirement to be able to realize, wow, how much work actually went into it between the training, the nutrition, the hours spent. You have to have those sleep patterns. I always suggest at least 6 hours a night of straight rest. That was very hard to do, especially training for competition. Now, did I ever think I would win the Mr. Olympia along the way? Absolutely not. It was one of those things where I kind of took things a step at a time. So I meet a lot of fans around the world. I travel internationally a lot. And I always meet the next person that's going to step up and be the next Jay Cutler. And they tell me I'm going to be in your place someday. But the truth is I didn't realize I could actually win that title until I landed second for the first time. Of course, it's a dream, it's a goal. But more importantly, I took steps in order to get there. I wanted to, do well on the amateur level. Then I turned pro, and then I wanted to do well on the pro level. And I just wanted to make a career of it and be able to financially support myself, especially as you guys know that are into fitness. It's very expensive to eat properly. It's expensive for the protein. I know everyone out there is looking, that is competitive, is looking for that sponsorship to get the free supplements or, the free egg whites, whatever it is. I was eating 30 egg whites a morning for breakfast. 30, I would crack the eggs before all the liquid egg whites came out. So on an average day, I would eat, 60 eggs sometimes just if I was eating eggs twice a day. And I had a butcher that would butcher all my meat for me. I'd buy 140 pounds of meat at a time. My whole refrigerator was just full of meat. And at 21 years old, when I was training for these competitions, all my friends would come over and they'd be looking for beers in my fridge. They'd go in there and be full of egg whites, So it was very demanding, but the chore was much worth it in the end when it did pay off, and I was able to make a career. And that's the thing I was blessed at the most. I was able to continue. I was able to land the endorsements and create the business opportunities. Create the partnerships and the relationships that built this lengthy time for me where I'm able to continue to travel and continue to promote and be a positive influence for people. And that's the greatest gift that I could ever achieve. Besides all the medals and the prizes that I won, I was able to influence people in a positive way and be a role model for a lot of people that not necessarily are focusing on winning the Mr. Olympia. The women, the older people, of course the younger generation, but I can be someone that's achieved something that in the end, a lot of people told me I couldn't do. Everyone around me there was always that negative influence. And I always strive to tell people, do not surround yourself by the negativity. If there's negativity around, and we have it in every gym in America, cut that stuff out. Surround yourself with positive influence, people that are going to give you the drive to be better, because we're all focused on being better on different levels. Okay, it's very hard when you're standing up on a stage and you're being judged by the judges kind of, you know, putting everything in their hands and deciding, okay, what position you're going to land. But more importantly, each show has different goals. Each time you stand on that stage, it's, you know, it could be someone that had to drop, you know, 20 pounds. It might be someone that dedicated to a death of someone in the family, someone that, you know, was out to just prove someone else wrong. There's so many different factors why people get on stage. You know, my factor was I just wanted to be great at something. Bodybuilding was fortunately one of those things that I was able to do. So I encourage everyone out there, if you're thinking about getting on stage and standing up there, you know, please consider doing it. There's a platform for everyone now. There's so many new divisions. It's not just strictly the bodybuilding side and between the fitness and, you know, men's physique and bikini and all the different divisions. It's opened up a lot of great opportunities for a lot of people to get up there and compete at any age. We have so many masters divisions, grandmasters, teenage. It really is a place for everyone there. So it's a great time for fitness and getting up there and challenging yourself. Someone maybe just trying to lose weight or just, you know, look better. I know a lot of people in Las Vegas that competed this past weekend are just trying to look better for summer. They're trying to, you know, look in better shape. And, you know, it's great to see that the shows are growing tremendously. There's so much more participation. Okay, so why don't we open up for a couple of questions, because I know, you know, that's where it kind of all starts. You guys come out here, I appreciate your time, and I would like to open up for some questions because I can ramble on forever. So why don't we we'll start here, okay, and then they'll be able to pass the mic. So just make sure we speak up so I can hear, okay, because it's a little loud.
So I'm currently going to college. What's your best plan for someone to still maintain and gain size while staying on a budget? Like, what's your best advice for someone trying to get a lot bigger through college?
So you're trying to put on size?
Yes.
Number one, I'm going to stress about the food. Okay, it's the frequency of the meals. Every 3 hours, you're going to put something in your stomach. Your breakfast is your most important meal of the day. So, for example, I still eat the same breakfast as I ate when I was winning Mr. Olympia competitions. It's my largest meal of the day. It's the meal you wake up, it's going to boost your metabolism, it's going to get everything flowing right. But you've got to eat frequent, 2.5, 3 hours apart, you know, protein, depending on your you know, how your body composition is, carbohydrates, you know, whatever essential fats. I just stress the fact that you have to stay on a particular diet day in, day out. Remember, you can't do this for 2 days and fall off for another day. It's not going to work. So you need to stay frequent with that, and then the training program should be, you know, training each body part once every 5 to 7 days at least. So you're training each body part, you know, once a week basically. The muscle needs 72 hours rest in between. So if you do chest training, you need 72 hours before you do that muscle again. Okay, so you need recovery time. You can't train arms 4 times a week. You know, everyone wants to have big arms, but you know, you train the whole body. Don't skip your legs. You know, it's going to halt your upper body growth if you skip your legs. Okay, so you got to stay frequent with that and give yourself the time. Give yourself the dedication to doing that, and the consistency. If you're doing everything properly, you're going to grow. Muscle volume is most important. Repetitions. Every repetition, 10 to 12 repetitions. You're not doing 4s or 5s if you're trying to put on muscle size. That's more of a strength thing. So remember, volume, work angles. I'm a big volume trainer, so I like to do at least 12 sets per body part, up to 20 sets per body part. Okay, so hit from a variety of angles. There's so much equipment out there now. If you're training at home or in your school gym, there's some dumbbells, barbells, you can do it all. Okay, no excuses. Okay. And I would love some of the females to ask a question too, so don't be shy. Yes, sir. Speak up, okay, my man.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on active rest days, or do you just split it to where you get enough rest and don't take a day off?
So rest days, I have total rest days off. I believe you at least I myself needed 2 days off a week. So when I was training for Olympia titles, or any time, I always took 2 days where I did no cardio, no weights. I ate the meals. I might have backed down on the calories I ate those days because I wasn't expending as much energy. But I would definitely suggest that you need those days of total rest. Okay, so don't think that those days are, I would usually use those as errand days, so I would get a lot of my business or work done in those days. Or when I traveled, I would save those days when I was flying, 8 hours or 10 hours when I was doing international travel. Those days I may not have trained as much, but I make sure, I train 5 total days a week. I never train 7 days a week. Some people do. You might talk to other professionals that do, but at 5 total days a week was what really worked best for me. Okay.
Is there a reason you like the Stairmaster for cardio?
Stairmaster for cardio, number one, I think it's harder. The stair gauntlet, so the rotating stairs, right? I do a little elliptical. For me, I just, I felt like because our competition was so stiff with having to be tighter in the glute and hamstring tie-ins, I felt like the stepping really worked those areas a lot more. You could really squeeze. Remember, the pace isn't super fast. Cardio, when you're trying to, when you're as big as we are, or you're trying to hold on muscle, it's not about high intensity. You can do intervals, so you go a little higher for a minute, then back down for 2 minutes. I've done that. But I like more of a steady, slower pace, but just constant. And I think that squeezing really helped bring in the conditioning, because I've noticed from show to show, when I didn't do the stair gauntlet, I didn't have as much definition in the backside area. And as you know, with competitions, that's what we're judged on. But it's not necessarily, listen, it's genetic too, right? Guys just get leaner in certain areas. I always had to work a little harder to get off the body fat off my backside. Okay. I see a female question out here.
So I've been working out, but I started and I stopped. This year has been the first year that I've been more committed to myself, working out on a regular basis, really focusing on my diet. But staying mentally tough is tough. So I kind of want to hear from you. What advice do you have for somebody that's getting started? How do you stay mentally tough to keep going and to keep working out and not seeing the results as fast as possible?
Well, listen, what motivates you the most? Seeing results, right? So if you're not happy with the results you're seeing quick enough, listen, it never happens quick enough. When I started training, I wanted to look like Arnold right away, right? But you have to, like I said, surround yourself with people. I always like to take pictures. I like to monitor my progress. Too many people watch the scale, maybe not in your place, but the guys watch. Well, you're trying to lose weight or get, whatever you're trying to do. You have to use the mirror to judge how you look, right? You wake up daily, you try to stand in the same lights. I know when I was training for competition, I always posed in the same lights, and I took pictures once a week so I could see my progress. That always helps a lot, because you may not see with your eye, especially someone around you on a daily basis. When you look at yourself every day, you can't see progression. But someone that hasn't seen you for 2 weeks might see you and say, wow, you've changed a lot. And that may be facial, body composition, whatever it is. The truth is, if you're following those patterns, like I mentioned to him, if you're day in, day out following the nutrition aspect, you're following some sort of workout program, and you're not sliding off. We're all going to have off days. So many times I went to the gym when I was training to win the Mr. Olympia, and I pulled up to the gym and I'm like, I don't want to be here. And I've turned around and gone home in those days sometimes. Sometimes I walk in the gym and I'm like, this is going to be the worst workout of my life, and it's sometimes the best. Sometimes I got to crank that music up on the way there, put on a different playlist. I got to train in a different gym. Sometimes picking up training partners that you don't normally train with is going to help push you past those limitations. Anything to make you better, that's the most important thing. You stay in the same routine that you're not happy with, your results are going to be the same. So you've got to find different ways to motivate yourself and make yourself better, and don't make excuses why you're not making the progress that you want, okay? But I'm telling you, as long as you're staying with it, you're going to see progression. It may not seem that way. It's never fast enough. I can promise you that. So stay with it. Yes.
Okay, I want to get real. Like, I'm hungry. I'm hungry and I'm training. What do I eat when I'm up at 2 in the morning and I'm hungry?
You're hungry at 2 in the morning. Go back to bed. If you're dieting for competition, that's the word. I know the hunger pains, but sugar-free Jell-O, popsicles, sugar-free popsicles. If you already ate your 5 meals or 6 meals, then you know you're not allowed to eat anything else for those 8 hours in between the morning start. So we're all hungry. I mean, but like I said, I just suggest those snacks that are lower calorie. It's part of the transformation. Is being hungry. If you're hungry, that means your body's burning. As long as you're not burning up muscle or not, getting too flat or whatever you're trying to do, it's working. So suck it up. It's not easy. Okay. Hopefully you're not too angry at your boyfriend or husband or whoever's next to you. Okay, always. That's great.
Hey Jay.
How are you, sir?
Good, how are you? So my question is, as you were training in your youth, did you have any heroes or idols that you personally looked up to?
You know what's funny? I'm going to say a couple names, which some of you may know or may not know. The guys that got me into weight training were Sylvester Stallone from the Rocky movies and Jean-Claude Van Damme from Bloodsport, those kind of things. So 2 guys that weren't bodybuilders, they're actually little guys, smaller in stature, but I'm going to tell you a funny story how this works, because I was around 12. I think I was around 12 when Rocky IV came out, and I was really influenced by that movie about, the training montage with Rocky and all that. And Bloodsport was, I think, around the same time. And these guys were in ripped shape, and I just wanted to be, cut up. I had a pretty decent physique because I worked out on the farm, and that's really how I got into weight training. I had a good physique anyway without ever lifting weights, because I was doing manual labor since 11 years old. But fast forward years later, of course, Arnold became my idol. Bob Harris was a name that a lot of you may not know, but he was a very aesthetic bodybuilder. He had a book that was in GNC. That was the first book I ever read at 16 years old. It was called Beyond Built, and it showed all the training techniques, and that's how I learned how to really work out, besides watching people work out in the gym, which, as you know, may be wrong, because people do train wrong. But I learned how to kind of build the exercise built on that book by Bob Harris. So I win the Arnold Classic 2004. It was my 3rd Arnold Classic win. I'm in Ohio, and I'm walking to the Morton's Steakhouse after my victory, and I had a guy come running over to me and said, "Hey, I got someone that wants to meet you. He wants to talk to you." So I walk over, limousine door opens up, and Sylvester Stallone comes out and he says, "I'm a huge fan, Jay." So I'm like taken aback. I'm like, wow, Sylvester, this is the guy I watched since I was 12, And then another story, I'm at Gold's Gym Venice, the mecca of bodybuilding. I'm walking to go into the gym one day, and I see this guy across the parking lot, and he's yelling, "Jay, Jay." So I'm walking closer, I can't really see. And as he starts closer, I'm like, wow, I recognize him. It's Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's like, sticks his hand out, he says, "Jay, I'm a huge fan." So here's 2 guys that influenced me in the very beginning that eventually, and I see Jean-Claude all the time because he trains at Gold's Gym Venice. I see Sylvester Stallone all the time, his brother. These are 2 big influences I had. They weren't bodybuilders. To be honest, I never watched Pumping Iron, the movie, until I was already a pro bodybuilder at the Olympia level. So a lot of people are surprised by that, but I never got a chance to really watch it. And of course I was an Arnold fan, more from the movies than anything. I didn't really follow the bodybuilding career because I really didn't know what it was. Of course I followed the magazines, but Arnold, he kind of molded bodybuilding, but by the time I came into following it, he was already a movie star. So I looked at more of the other guys, tried to mimic what my physique would look like, and eventually those became the mass monsters, the Dorian Yateses, the Ronnie Coleman's who I ended up battling to win the title. Those are my heroes, and I still look at these guys, the Kai Greens, the Phil Heaths, the Dennis Wolfs, all these guys as huge inspirations. You know, I admire all these guys. The guys I competed against were big influences on my career, because those are the guys I was battling, and I watched some of the new guys come up. You know, I brought up Phil Heath under me and built him up so much, and he was able to come and beat me to win the title, which I never thought would happen. And now he's won 6 times, going for 7 this year, so it's pretty good achievement. And it was a great prediction on my part, because I did predict him to win. Okay.
Jay?
Yes, sir.
Hey, first of all, just want to tell you are awesome. I really look up to you a lot. So I have a couple of questions, but they're all related to the same subject. And the first one you don't have to answer if you want. To keep in that shape that you are right now, what's an average and an estimate on how much you spend a month, you know, when it comes to protein, meals, supplements, all that stuff? You don't have to answer that if you want, but the other question was, for a guy like me, I'm really horrible on my diet, so I'm trying to, you know, focus on meals, protein and supplements and things like that. For me to build muscle, look bigger, what would be an estimate or an average on how much should I spend on all those things a month, if you have an idea?
And now we talking dollar amounts? Is that what we're talking, or?
Yeah, correct. Just a rough estimate.
I'm going to generalize a little bit, because it's really hard to sit there and say, okay, it costs this much or that. Remember, my life's a lot easier than it was 20 years ago, because I'll come home from this trip and there'll be stuff sitting at my doorstep, just like, thanks Jay for being you. You know, here's some free gifts, you know. So my house is like GNC. You know, I got every supplement company sending me stuff, even though I have my own. But I would say I'm gonna tell you what I spent to win the Olympia. If I made what I made at the Mr. Olympia, I was winning about $200,000. I would spend that in preparation, because I would get massages, I would do the food would cost me, you know, $80,000 a year probably, between all the food that I ate, because I would eat out a lot on my travels. And I mean, you're talking eating 5 pounds of meat a day. Protein's not cheap, you know what I'm saying? So, in supplements, whatever, you know, I would get free stuff, of course. I mean, I was contracted by the biggest supplement sponsors out there, but I also took other supplements that I couldn't get, not just strictly sports nutrition wise. You know, I would take all the vitamins. I'd still order online. I'd go to bodywin.com or Muscle Strength, one of these websites, and I'd still order a bunch of stuff, but it can be rather expensive. The most important thing is, if you shop, like I started eating more organic food, so I started shopping at Whole Foods, because I got into more of the organic stuff. That gets more expensive. If you're shopping at the grocery store, which the quality isn't as good, it's better to find a butcher to get your meat. I bought my eggs from an egg farm, which was a lot easier, but all that stuff is expensive, so you've got to set a budget up depending on what your income is. More importantly, I mean, I still eat about 4 meals a day now. I have a meal preparation company that actually provides my meals, MegaFit meals, that gives me the meals each week. I order about 20 meals. I took some with me on this trip, even though, you know, I'm catered food up here. I want to make sure if I get hungry in the middle of the night, like she said, I'm going to eat, because I'm not on any restrictive calories, okay? So I might eat at 2 in the morning. Like, I can't tell her that, but I'll still eat whatever I want, you know? I'll raid the cooking, the snack machine down the hall, you know, the hotel. I'm not as much on that. It's very easy for me to maintain this now, because remember, I came down from a big body weight. I carried a lot of muscle for a lot of times. So yes, I'm relatively small in standards of what Jay Cutler, you know, what I used to look like. But to me, you know, it's very easy. I don't train with heavy weights. I still train at least 4 or 5 days a week. I do cardio almost every day, at least 30 minutes daily. When I wake up in the morning, either I walk outside or I do the step mill. I do treadmill, whatever it is. And I make sure even when I travel, I get up that extra half hour early. Like this morning, I got up at 5 o'clock. make sure I got my cardio in before I had to head to the airport at 7:30. So I just stay on that regimen. That's the most important thing. But the food, it can vary so much. I mean, you set your budgets, $300 a month, whatever it is. It's not cheap to be big, okay? But you've got to eat the proper foods in order to get cut and look bigger. Because remember, the more defined you are, the bigger you're going to look. Okay, you've got to find that. And the supplements, I mean, you know, protein, your pre-workout, your branched chains, you know, multivitamin. Those are things I'd probably suggest you get. Everyone needs a good protein. Pre-workouts don't need to be taken every day, but it helps with your performance. Branched chain aminos when you're not getting enough calories, but if you're getting enough calories in your protein, you don't need branched chains either. People getting ready for competitions might feel they need that extra edge. You know what? That's when you add them in. Are supplements absolutely necessary? No. If you're eating enough calories, food is your number one supplement. Supplements are exactly what they are. They're supplemented in with a great diet. Okay, so have that understanding.
All right, we got about 10 more minutes, so we'll probably get like 5 questions.
Well, we're gonna stay a little longer because I say so. Go ahead.
Right here.
How you doing, sir?
How you doing?
I've been training regularly now. I'm good on my diet. I don't have an issue with that. My main issue is I've been seeing muscle growth in all of my upper body areas, but my hard areas are the legs. Do you have any bodybuilding advice, tips or training to help with muscle growth in the legs?
Anyone would usually say, okay, you have to squat to build legs, but nowadays isn't necessarily true. There's so many different machines and variations of the squat that allows the guys to get bigger legs. You look back into Arnold, the era, all those, the guys weren't as big then. Their legs definitely weren't as big, except they had like a few people like Tom Platz, those kind of people. But nowadays, we can hit the legs from so many different angles. It's about volume and angles of hitting those quads, okay? I prefer more repetitions, so you're not doing 8 to 10 reps. I prefer 15 to 20 repetitions. Really engorge the legs with a lot of blood. Remember, you're on your legs a lot. It's half your body working a lot, half the day if you're on your feet a lot. So you got to make sure that you do something different than it's used to, so that you're just a high impact, a lot of repetitions. So you got to do something that's really going to blast the legs full of blood. And remember, the rest time has to be enough. I always suggest 60 seconds in between each set. So you're not resting 2-3 minutes at a time. Really pound the legs, get the blood in there, move with a good momentum that'll allow you to continue that. Leg presses, hack squats, sissy squats, lunges. There's so many different things you can do, and there's so much equipment out there, the squat machines nowadays to take the place of your backs. I mean, nowadays I still squat, but I don't go very heavy. Okay, fortunately for me, even at my age, I don't have a lot of aches and pains. My knees are good, my hips are good, but as we get older, we have to stay away from certain exercises. But you've got to get the blood into the muscles, and that's going to be volume and repetitions that's going to do that. Okay? Remember, too heavy a weight's going to only push with your hips. It's not. You want to feel the muscle contract under the weight. Okay?
So I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty cool being able to talk to you. I've always watched all your stuff. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I appreciate it so much. It looks like you're ready to be the next big pop.
I'm hopeful. I'm really excited. I'm not gonna lie. I have a competition coming up this July.
Okay, good.
And so my diet's on vegan. I mean, I brought a food scale about my crock pot. I'm from St. George.
Okay.
So we drove 8 hours, run everything, set it up. Right now we still have rice cooking, chicken screwing away. Dedicated to my diet, but I'm hungry too.
That's dedication. So you got the scale, you got everything.
Oh yeah, my mom wants to drive up from Idaho Falls to come see us and wants to go out to dinner somewhere. I'm like, well, maybe if I bring my food scale, I can weigh everything in so that I can add it in. But my biggest question is, so when you went pro at 23, I just turned 23 last week.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. The biggest thing for me is obviously this is not a cheap lifestyle by any means, especially if you're trying to get a hotel room in the kitchen, so you can make your own meals. What did you do to lock down sponsorships, obviously, before you got that exposure?
Number one, the easiest way to lock down sponsorship is to win. Okay?
Right. Yeah.
There's so many great bodies out there. There's so many great faces. the fitness industry has grown. And listen, nowadays it's so easy for people to get in touch because of social media and emails. And remember, I came back, there was no computers, nothing back when I started. There was no internet. So I remember handwriting letters to all the different sponsors and sending a book or like a picture of myself and saying, hey, you know what, I'm looking, I try to pick the products that I use. Like if I use wrist straps, if I use a belt, if I use, you know, a chalk or whatever, or a certain type of clothing or a shoe, I would reach out to all the companies and try to build that sponsorship. Of course, nowadays when you think, okay, sponsorship, you go rate the supplements, right? Okay, what do I use? But you know what? It doesn't hurt to try to reach out to those companies. Send an image of yourself. Find who, you know, the marketing division or wherever, say, you know what, I'm someone that uses your product, I believe in it. Tell the story behind it, because every day they're getting hit up by different people and saying, hey, I want your sponsorship. You know what? Tell your story on how you use the product, how you believe in it. Show your transformation. Tell a little bit about yourself, and you'll have a better chance to do it. More importantly, on your way to the top, because you have the vision of being on the top, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's my goal.
You have to, you know, give your all and be your absolute best. And yes, it's easy when you're winning to build those sponsorships. I mean, I've been turned down a million times when I was 21, 22 years old. But to be honest, I have a partnership with Chic Belts. Just for example, I found a pair of wrist straps in the gym. I liked them so much I wrote to them, but somehow the letter got to the owner. He said to me at 23 years old, he's like, wow, you know, I'm really happy you like the product. I'd like to send you more. Sent me more. Eventually I worked my way up. I was becoming a big name. I said, listen, I would love to do some sort of endorsement deal. He's like, well, I don't know how to do that. We've never done it. He said, you know what? You write the contract. You do it. I've had a deal with them for 25 years. So,
okay, that's perfect. Thank you.
So I believe in the product, and that's how I do it. So you guys see the J Cutler belt line out there, and that's how that relationship developed. Of course, now I own my own supplements. I endorse many different things over the years. But believe in yourself. Just keep pushing. But most important, tell your story. Okay?
Well, I was overweight originally, so I lost all that, and then put on over 108 pounds of muscle this morning.
Well, you look like you're well on your way, so I wish you the best. And it shows you dedication. So you guys have got diet questions. See, this guy's traveling from St. Louis with his crock pot and all his scales and everything else. So congratulations. You're a good influence for all these people.
Thank you.
Hey, can we have this lovely guy stand up? I think you have something for Jay. Can you show us?
Wow.
Check this out, Jay. Get this on social media.
This is on my, Snapchat Instant story?
Yeah, it is.
Do you want to ask any questions to Jay?
I like it.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to see you, meet you.
Where are you from?
I'm from Florence, I'm from Mexico. And I'm 42 years old, and I was going to Thank you.
Well, I look forward to this. I'm going to be available after this. I'll be taking pictures.
Okay,
So I'll make sure you can find a picture and get a handshake and tell me a little bit about yourself, okay? So I'll be here till 7 o'clock afterwards. I'll be signing at booth. What number?
Right there.
Oh, okay, that's easy. Okay, easy enough. Take out the walk far. Thank you. Hopefully I can see everybody. Speak up, my man. Sorry.
What advice do you have for someone who's going to enter their first show or competition?
A lot of advice. Preparation time, you should give yourself 12 to 16 weeks of preparation. Remember, conditioning brings oversized every time. So you gotta make sure you're gonna eat enough, all the diet routines. Most importantly, confidence. So you're gonna practice the poses, know the poses, know the presentation, which means 6 to 8 weeks out, you're gonna start practicing those transitionals. Remember, it's not just about being a front low bicep or whatever. You're doing a body weight or prevents physique or classic. What is it? Body weight. So know the transitions, know your quarter turns and how to pose, how to hold the stomach in. All those transitions. Smile as you hit those shots. It's not about hit those face all the time. That's my job. You're gonna look happy up there. So make sure you you practice, but more importantly, you have the confidence when you stand on that stage. Because, listen, get up there for the first time, I was nervous as hell, I'll be honest with you. So you gotta practice yourself, okay? You can do it though. Okay, sir, speak up now.
I was gonna ask, how you put on like more muscle mass without like putting on too much fat?
Put on muscle without getting fat? Okay, clean eating. Nowadays, I don't like as much as what's going on because there's too much social media where guys go out and eat burgers and fries and that kind of stuff, and they have the genetics to put on weight, which some people do, and stay lean at the same time, but the average person doesn't have it that easy. So it's about, like I said, the preparation of meals, learning what foods work best for you, staying away from the red meats that contain a whole little more body fat, chicken, turkey, egg whites, fish, those kind of things. Lower fat protein sources, okay? I was a huge red meat advocate. I was able to eat red meat and still stay pretty relatively lean. I mentioned I ate 1,000 carbs a day when I was trying to bulk. Even on a contest diet, on average day, I eat 800 carbs a day. Because I was a big volume trainer, I would rather train harder, rest less in between sets, and that allowed me to able to eat more and actually get leaner. But remember, it's all about the foods that you eat, bro, okay? You guys eat clean, eat lean, and eat consistent. That's the more frequent, smaller meals you eat, the leaner you're gonna stay. Do as little cardio as you have to do because cardio and muscle building don't necessarily go together.
Hey Jay, good to see you again.
How are you?
Budget time, living the dream. As a 58-year-old guy trying to maintain and stuff, I'm thinking ahead to your transition out of being Mr. O and all the Arnold Classic wins and now downsizing and still staying fit. Where do you see yourself when you're a geezer like me?
Hope I got arms like yours, bro. Still got the arms. How big were your arms at the biggest? Look at that. Look at that. Mine were 22 and a half. I don't know what they are now.
Should we measure them?
Probably 20, 21. You know what? I'm enjoying the process a lot. I never imagined myself to be, I'm 43, I'll be 44 in August. I never imagined myself being as old as I am. I'm sure you can relate, right? I'm in an industry where we try to stay younger. And, a lot of kids come to me as influencers and they never want to see their hero, get older, right? So, I focus more, on the food aspect. Like I said, I'm doing more cardiovascular. I'm trying to figure out how to train us with little amounts of weights and still maintain the physique because eventually the joints wear out. The exercise that you used to do, the power movements become less and less. But I'll tell you, I feel great. I have no joint pain. I have no restrictions. Even with the torn bicep that I suffered in 2011, I'm able to still go back and do, I had the surgery, I fixed everything. I have no shoulder pain anymore. I'm still getting the chiropractic treatments. I'm still getting the massages. I'm staying out of the sun to keep my skin as much as I can. And listen, we all can't beat Father Time. Now, Father Time always takes over. So I'm just going to still maintain that lifestyle. I still train, like I said, but a lot less than I did. And the diet has to be a little more particular. But am I scared of aging? In some aspect. I'm a little scared of what my physique will look like in 10 years. But you know what? I'm enjoying the process because I'll tell you, my life after 40 is a lot better than my life after 30. I can promise you that. I went to Olympia at 33, so since I retired, I'm going to enjoy myself much more than ever. Reap the benefits of the great career that I was able to build through fitness and bodybuilding. I was able to do so many great things. We have a good back now is the greatest gift that I've received. Than Mr. Olympia titles. I still look at my sandbags every day, though. I still look at them every day. All right. Any more questions? We've got another female. I appreciate all the female responses here. Just make sure you speak up, okay? Let's hear what you have to say.
Oh, I was wondering when you're competing and stuff,
didn't exist when I was doing it. Video games I never really got into that much. You know, I spent a lot of those days doing errands, but I'll be frank with you. I did as little as I possibly had to do. So that means I laid on the couch a lot of the days, as much as possible, because I was so beat up from training. I was sore. Every workout I got sore. I don't know how many people work out and don't get sore, but I was always sore. After a workout, I would do saunas and try to flush the lactic acid out, that kind of stuff. But I ran errands. I took care of phone calls that I was too busy to do when I was in the training days. Because like I said, I trained 2 to 4 times a day. Plus I was cooking my food and whatever else. There was no meal free then. And we were restricted. If I wasn't living in Vegas, I was restricted as when the gym closed. That's why I moved to Las Vegas, because I had 24-hour gyms, 24-hour access. So I was able to train. Anyone that watched my videos know I used to train in the middle of the night just because I could. I did it that way. So, but it's a rest day. So you're supposed to do as little as, I didn't want to use my mind even as much because I was just so fried on trying to do everything. And one thing I'd like to touch on, I did journal everything when I was training. I have journals of the foods I ate, the training I did. I wrote down everything I did, every movement through the day. I maintained, what my body weight was. I wrote it all down, so I have all record of that. Not that it does me any good now. It might be good for a book in the future or whatever, but I did journal everything, so I knew exactly when I needed to make adjustments. I was able to do that and have a reference for those adjustments. Okay.
All right, any more questions?
Let's start wrapping up. We got someone else coming in to do a seminar?
Yeah, Bobby Max. We'll get 2 more.
Okay, 2 more questions. We'll get to you, sir.
For someone who's looking closer.
Just yell a little bit because I'm hard of hearing.
Okay. For someone who's looking to lose weight and lean up and drop body fat percentage, what must-have supplements do you recommend?
Okay, once again, the diet has to be intact, right? Some sort of cardio or weight training. Remember, weight training is always going to burn more calories than cardio. I know some of you guys probably don't know that, but the amount of calories it takes to maintain the pump that you get. Listen, even as a woman, you're going to go to the gym and you're going to get pumped up. I know that doesn't sound right, but you're going to get that pump, and it takes a lot of calories to maintain that pump. So I always suggest weight training over cardiovascular. Okay, so the combination of the two is great. Best time to do your cardiovascular training: first thing in the morning, fasted, or after the weight training session, after the workout. Okay, suggestion at least 20 to 40 minutes. I prefer 30 to 40, but sometimes it's depending on how lean you are. Okay, if you're trying to get leaner, remember it's going to take a few weeks for that cycle to kick in, your body to really start showing changes. So you're going to get some patients, you're going to lose water at first, then you're going to start tapping into body fat. Okay? It's going to take a few weeks for that to kick in. But the consistency of that, remember the diet regimen where if you're trying to lean out, it's just carbohydrates the first meal of the day and the meal before and after weight training. Okay, if you're training after your breakfast, and you might get a little carbs after, but then you can go pretty much the whole day on just straight protein, or green vegetables, salad, that kind of stuff. Those are people that are really trying to lean out. If you're trying to put on muscle, I suggest carbohydrates in every meal along with the protein. Okay, I was never a huge fat advocate. I always suggested good fats, avocado, nuts, those kind of things, but I never really added fats to my diet regimen unless I really needed them. When I was really lean for competition, I needed to slow down my metabolism a little bit. But the cardio weight combination is always going to be most beneficial. In hitting your metabolism, that's why I always suggest if you can't do it first thing in the morning, that means you can just go walk outside. You don't have to have a step mill or a bike or whatever else. Just the body movement, just consistency for 30 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever it is, 40 minutes, whatever you can put in a day. It's going to accelerate the fat burning process.
Mr. Cutler, glad to see you. All right, been following for a long time. I have a question though. During your later years and now, How has your workout routine and your training program has changed? Have you incorporated other techniques and other forms of exercise as you got older?
I train half as much as I did. So the weight's half as much, the volume's half as much. I was a 20 to 25 set per body part guy. So I would pick 6 or 7 movements if I was doing chest. And I would do 3 exercises per set, okay? Sounds like a lot. 9 to 12 is usually average for someone, 2 or 3 different movements. But I like to do the angles, I like to do the volumes. My rest time was 45 to 60 seconds between every set. The repetitions were always 10 to 12 repetitions. I never went to failure. I was one of those bodybuilders that never did forced repetitions. I never had a training partner doing forced reps for me. I never believed in it, I never needed it. I won the Olympia doing exactly what I did from day one, and it was volume, volume, volume. I learned it from Arnold and the old school bodybuilding generation, and I believe nowadays it's still the same. So I still go in the gym, I do more volume than the average 43-year-old man, I can promise you that, but the weights aren't extreme. I just go for the pump, and I go for a little muscle breakdown, and then I get out of the gym and I still do the same thing. I repair it, and I feed it within 45 minutes, and I try to sleep at night, even though my travel schedule is insane. But I appreciate you following me for all the years. And you've seen the transition, right? You saw me move from second to last at the Mr. Olympia all the way to the top, lose it, come back to win it, now living on the other great side. So, thank you so much.
Let's give Jay a round of applause. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I'm just going to finish off by just once again thanking everyone for coming out. I'm going to be at that booth over there until 7 o'clock. I would love to take a picture with anyone in this place who wants to take a picture. I have some autographs, whatever else. I have some clothing stuff you guys want to check out. But more importantly, thank you for everyone that's involved with the FitCon for letting me participate this year. Thank you to the staff for bringing me up. They said today's been a great success for a Friday. And I just want to tell you guys, I've been in this business a very long time. I never imagined in a million years I would be at this level or standing in front of crowds, be able to speak and kind of tell my stories. And sometimes it's a little surreal, and I can sit here and tell you how much I appreciate, all of you sitting and listening for the last hour, and some of you may not be able to grasp it, but I came from a town of 6,000 people in central Massachusetts that no one ever leaves from. I was the youngest of 7 kids. My dad's 88, and my mom's 75. My dad still runs tractors every day on the farm. And he never understood bodybuilding. I didn't have a lot of support from my family. In the beginning, they thought I was crazy. I remember showing my brother the magazine a picture of Chris Dickerson when I was 12, and I said, I want to look like this, and he said, you're crazy. Eventually, I became greater than Chris Dickerson. I was able to win more Mr. Olympia titles. He was a big influence for me, but along the way, I learned a lot about myself, and I learned through perseverance and hard work, dedication, commitment, winning, and a lot of losing, a lot of failure made me a better person. And we can't ever be afraid to fail. Sometimes those failures make you that much better. I think my failures at the Mr. Olympia competition made me a greater bodybuilder and made me a greater representative of what I continue to do nowadays. So I just want to say to everyone out there, don't be afraid to be something, okay? Don't be afraid. Shoot for a specific goal. It doesn't have to be anything to do with fitness, bodybuilding, whatever it is. Somewhere seated around you, family members, friends, you're a positive influence to someone. You're a hero to someone. So remember, your influence has to be positive at all times. And I think if we live in more of a positive environment, a positive society, we can achieve much greater things. And that's all I want you guys to walk away from the seminar and be able to say, you know what, I understood Jay. It's a positive message I'm trying to send. And I'm going to continue to do that to the end of time. That's my job now. I was on the best stages in the world. Now I'm going to continue to give back So if you ever have the opportunity to see me again at another event, if I leave this one, please come over and say hi. Please mention, the time you met me for the first time or whatever else. And I will be over there till 7 o'clock, shaking hands and taking pictures. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Jay.
Thank you so much.